Oh, the clap's my favourite bit. I'll do the clap. Fuck it, yeah. Are you ready? Tell me when you're ready for that. Yeah. My name is Frank Turner. I come from London, England, and I write and play songs for a living.
History's been leaning on me lately. I can feel the future breathing down my neck.
I started playing guitar when I was about 10. I started playing in a band when I was about 12. I did my first tour when I was 16. I played in hardcore punk bands until 2005. And then I started playing shows under my own name with an acoustic guitar. I've picked up a backing band since then. Backing band is a terrible expression, but a band I play with. But I'm still making music under my own name 13 years later. And tonight's show will be show number 2217.
We had a difficult winter. We had a rough few months. When the storms came in off the coast, it felt like they broke everything on us at once.
Playing live is the heart of what I do. I mean, to me, music is a form of communication. It's a performative thing, you know. I mean, I enjoy making records. I think it's artistically valid, and I like releasing albums and all the rest of it. But the absolute heart of what I do is standing in a room with other human beings and communicating through music. So I have played a lot of shows, and it is still my favorite part of what I do. It's funny. I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but over the years I've encountered musicians who seem to enjoy every aspect apart from the bit where you play music, and that just seems weird to me. A few years ago, I was in an award ceremony in London, and I received 2 awards. I received one for being like the hardest working musician, or whatever, and then the other one was for being the best live act. And I was very pleased I got the second one, because of course it is logically possible to do a lot of shows and work very hard and not be any good, you know? So it was quite nice to also have a recognition that there was some quality to go with the quantity. Well, this is my 7th solo album, and if there's ever a time that you're allowed to experiment, it might be album 7. I think. I mean, also, like, the last record I did, Positive Songs, was very much an attempt to sonically retrench and go back to first principles. And I did that, and it went well. So this time around, do something different, like blow the doors off. So I kind of, like, I had a rule that I wouldn't work on any of the songs until, any of the arrangements for any of the songs until I got to the studio, and just let the songs grow in their own way. I read this book called Rip It Up and Start It Again by Simon Reynolds, which is a history of the post-punk movement in the UK, which was some of the first people who engaged with electronics as instruments, you know, sequences and synthesizers. And also I toured with a band from Canada called Arkels, who are incredible, and they write incredible pop music. And I come from a musical world in which pop is still kind of a dirty word, and it was really liberating to tour with those guys and hang out and make friends with those guys for whom pop isn't a dirty word. They're just a pop band, and that's fine. And it's not kind of like a dumbed down thing. They're super smart, but they're just a pop band. So with all of these ideas, I thought I'd try and get out of my comfort zone with the new material, and did. Holy cow. I spent an entire morning trying to find the on switch for a bass synthesizer. I did, and then we didn't use it, so that was a waste of time. But, you know, just kind of messing with different methodologies, different instruments. It was really fun. I discovered the arpeggiator function on a synthesizer. That was a blast. Yeah, and, you know, we came up with some different sounds. It was fun. So my name's Frank Turner. I'm in Austin, Texas, South by Southwest, and I'm dressed like this. And I'm going to go out onto the streets of Austin with my little sign that I've made, and we're going to find out what's great about America. Let's do it. Okay, we've got to find some people. I'm going to ask these guys. So, here's the deal. I've written this song about America and how great I think it is. Because everyone here's talking about, like, making America greater, and I think it's already pretty great, right? Well, could I ask a favor? Of course. What I'd like you to do, I've got a whiteboard over here. I'd like you to write on the whiteboard what your favorite thing about America is.
Okay.
But you can say something funny, or you can say something serious, or whatever.
Are you sure?
Whatever you want to say. Yeah, anything you want to say. Like, and I've got a selection of different coloured pens here. Who wants to go first? obviously using the expression "Make America Great Again" is an act of provocation, but I mean, the Sex Pistols released a song called "God Save the Queen." Do you know what I mean? There's good pedigree for this kind of repurposing. I mean, actually, the word punk was an insult. The word Yankee was an insult. The song Yankee Doodle was a song written by the British to take the piss out of Americans, and Americans reclaimed it and made it their own song. I don't know if you knew that. It's a good history fact. So the repurposing is kind of an interesting political and rhetorical device. I mean, I have to say, like, one of the things was when we wrote the song and we recorded it, part of me was like, hurry up and get it out because surely somebody else is going to do this. It seemed like a really obvious move to me, but apparently not. And it's garnered some interesting reactions so far.
I mean, how does that song go down? Like,
Well,
in the middle of the country?
yeah, thus far, pretty good. I mean, I've had a few walkouts here and there for that song.
Yeah.
But, I always kind of preface the song by saying, first of all, it would be an act of cowardice for me to write it and then not play it in America. And secondly, in my experience, Americans are grown up so you can handle a little bit of conversation without throwing their toys out of the pram. And if you phrase it like that, you're kind of putting the onus of, like, behaving yourself on the people who disagree with you. Nevertheless, we've had a few fuck yous and people walking out and that, but that's okay.
Let's make compassionate fashion again.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been hesitating as to whether or not to call this a political album, and I've sort of settled on the slight cop-out of calling it a social album. I mean, another way of saying it is that I was kind of trying to write a non-partisan political record, for the most part. Obviously, the song Make America Great Again picks a side. But, like, the record is about how we interact with each other as individuals at a time of extreme political division. And my worry, and what the record is about, is this, which is the central political fact of the human species is that we disagree with each other. Any political movement that is predicated on an end state in which there is no disagreement is totalitarian or infantile, or usually both. We are always going to disagree with each other. The whole question is, how do we conduct our disagreements? That's what politics is really about, actually. And there are two options. There are, broadly speaking, only two options. Option one is rhetoric and words and debate, and option two is violence. And we've done a reasonably good job over the last couple of hundred years of using the rhetorical option, and that is historically new and unusual. And my worry is that so many people now don't understand quite how unusual and exciting and awesome it is that we've lived in a society in which we disagree with each other with words. And there are a lot of people, including friends of mine, who are in a hurry to jettison that because they think there's something kind of chic and exciting and titillating about the idea of conducting our disagreements through violence. And I think they're fucking idiots for thinking that. And I think they're going to regret it. And I think they're going to regret it sooner than they think. And this is my great concern. There are people I disagree with, and there are people who I want to shout at all day for being idiots. But I want to keep it to that, and I think it's important that I keep it to that. First and foremost, importantly, it's a work of music, and I hope that people enjoy it as music, and I certainly want music and songwriting to be the paramount consideration for everything that I do. Part of the reason that I haven't been all that political for the past few years until this record, which may or may not be political as we were discussing, is just that I'm kind of annoyed with people who use music as a means to an end. Do you know what I mean? They sort of write a little song to get the message out. Fuck that. Write a song to be a song. A song is a song. Or at least that's how I look at it. Part of the reason that I went with the idea of Be More Kind and all the rest of it is that, like, when you see a band who are like, this next song's going to bring down the government, and I think to myself, no, it isn't. And I think, policy proposal in rock and roll songs seems a little strange to me. Whereas the idea of just trying to get people to examine the way they disagree with each other and just in general how they interact with other humans strikes me as an appropriate ambition for rock and roll. If the people walk away from the record with a bit more consideration for their fellow human beings, particularly the people they disagree with, that would make me feel good. But mainly I hope that people enjoy the songs. Greetings, this is Frank Turner, and you are lucky enough to be watching Baeblemusic.
Be more kind, my friends. Try to be more kind.